All right, I'll show you guys how to upgrade your nasty old fluorescent tube and ballast back there and starter. All that's going to come out, and we're going to upgrade it to an LED light. This is on the IGT, and you can do this one here, and we'll do the one in the front as well. That's probably your easiest to start with because you have a lot of room up here. So let's get to it. The things you'll need to do this is a nice pair of strippers, crimpers, some blue solderless connectors or butt splice connectors, whatever you want to call them, 5mm socket, pair of wire snips, and that's pretty much all you'll need to modify this. So the fluorescent tube uses a ballast for lighting it and a starter as well. The UV light that comes off of fluorescent is insane, so that's why it's nice to upgrade to LED. And you're going to create so much less heat inside the slot machine. I did my Go Bananas, and it's probably a 90% heat difference when I open that door up if it's been on for a while in the house with the new LED lights, because the ballast makes heat, the fluorescent tube makes heat, and you times all three of them in a closed cabinet. That's a lot of heat, and you're gonna go on a diet because these little ballasts are actually kind of heavy. So removing them will actually put your already insanely heavy slot machine on a slight diet. One thing to note is never do this plugged in. There's the power's out. You never want to do this with power on. So get yourself a nice work light area, and we'll begin. Take out the bulb. That's going to go to the trash. We're going to take the starter out. That's now trash. We'll use our little 5mm here, and you just loosen the ballast up. Pretty much falls out on its own. Spin those guys off, and the ballast is out. Now, how it uses the power is you have two power wires coming in. Ignore this, that's for your candlestick on top. So we have two power wires coming in here. So basically the theory of it is, right now, is one wire comes up, goes into the fluorescent tube, comes out, over around into the other one, and through the ballast. Your other power wire will come up, and it goes directly through the ballast and passes through the starter, and then through that way, and that's how it makes its complete circuit. What we're going to be doing is these two wires coming in, what's going to happen is one of them is going to basically go to these two, and the other wire is going to go to these two. So we'll remove the, oh, look at that, my nut fell off of that. I guess we'll have to fix that guy. Looks like one of the nuts or clips broke off. There we are, just clips in. And we'll remove our starter that we don't need anymore. But yeah, these are kind of heavy. Let's put it the other way. 35 amp, a 120 volt. So that's the problem now. We're going to be sending full voltage to those connectors, so you have to be careful when you're handling them, because you will get shocked if you touch the ends of the new LED tube and you're on some metal. You'll get a little buzz. But all right, so we're going to cut our connectors. A nice part about this kit that I picked up off of Amazon, it has both different types of ballast. Basically, we're using a magnetic ballast. That's us. So right now, here's our current configuration. As I was showing you, the one power wire comes in, goes through the ballast, into the tube, up out of the starter, and up and out that way. That's all going to get removed, and it's so simple. We're basically going to take that one wire to both ends of that. The other wire is going to crimp to both ends of that. So how you'll start is you can cut these two wires about the same length. Right, and then what we're going to do is we're going to strip this, and then we'll strip these two. All right, now we're on our stand. That helps things immensely. So again, take our strippers. We'll be taking these are the 2 wires again, coming up from the bottom of the machine with our power. We have a white and a black, and we'll simply strip off just a little bit on the white. You can put a butt splice connector on here. What I like to do is find the crimpers will usually have blue and red, so I mean, most people know this. I'm just doing it for anybody that doesn't. So what I like to do is I like to put my tool in there, and you just want to get a little bit. You don't want the very end because there's nothing there but plastic. There's metal inside, and that's what we'll be crimping our wire to. So as you can see, I have it just hanging over just a little bit. You want it all the way in. You don't want any of the casing showing or any of the bare wire showing. And give it a good crimp, and it's always good to tug on it to make sure it doesn't come off. I'm going to come over here and strip these guys. You can buy these tools at any auto parts store as well. They're all pretty easy to obtain. Get them online. So we have our black and our white from this end of the connector. What I like to do is twist them together. And again, you don't want to strip off too much because you don't want any bare wire hanging out here. You want the casing of the wire to basically be in this little section here. All right, and when you're doing it this way, what I like to do, get it out of the road. I like to get my tool set, get right to where I want to crimp it. And then we'll just stick both of our wires in there. Put it all the way in and crimp it down. Again, give it a little, see, that's why you give it a tug. So we missed that one. No problem, we got many more of these. So we're basically going to cut this away. It happens. Sometimes what you can do here, because we have plenty of wire, you can strip a little bit longer on each end. Give yourself a good twist here. I like to crisscross them and then twist them together. That holds them together. And then we can trim off a little bit of the end, because again, we don't want all that wire hanging out. So it's good that happened. That way you guys get to see what happens when that happens, because it doesn't commonly happen. Again, we want to get lined up just nice. We'll do this end first. Shove that in there nice and tight. Give it a good crimp. Now we're together. You can pull on it pretty hard. You should almost be able to pull your car down the road with that. Should be that tight. That's why also you don't want to cut too close to your connector. Give yourself some room in case you mess up. You have room to play. And it's probably better off doing the double-sided first, the double-sided wire first, because that way you can crimp it. Be more careful on your crimp. Crimp that guy. That's basically it. So on our other end, swing over here. So the other end, we have our starter with our ballast in there. So again, we're taking the other part of that power wire coming in. This ballast is going in the trash. So we can cut the wire close to the ballast. That'll give us plenty of room to breathe. We'll cut close here. And you take this thing and adios muchachos, out the window it goes. Because we don't want that heavy hot heat thing anymore. So on this side where your starter was, and anytime you see a butt splice connector that's already here, you kind of want to work on the other side of that so we don't have to, because we got plenty of wire, so we're going to cut that right out. The least of these you have, the better off you are. So again, now we have our one wire that goes to our connectors here, and the other one goes into the actual starter. So what we're going to do is we'll cut that wire, because this guy's not even going to get used. We're going to cut that as close as we can to where the starter was, because we need some extra wire there. And with this cable, we got tons of wire left. So again, so we don't get ourselves caught up, this is this too, this is this for the starter. Since the starter's done, we're not going to use that anymore. Let's just cut that out. One less wire in the cabinet. All right. Again, strip a little long on this so you can twist them together. It just makes it easier. And obviously I'm doing this one because, man, the one in the cabinet kind of stink. And when you twist them, just basically hold your wires like a crisscross and just give them a good tight twist around. And again, you want to nip a little bit off of there. Not a ton, just enough. And again, it works a lot easier if you get your crimp set in your pliers. Again, you want to leave just a little bit, because don't forget, this is just the casing. The metal doesn't start till down the road there. Okay. Slide these two guys in here. Get a good crimp. Give it a pull. No wires are coming apart. That's what we want. And then here's our other black wire coming in. So we have a little extra. We don't need all that. Leave yourself some, again, in case you mess up. It's always nice to have a little extra wire. So we'll cut that guy off. Strip him. We'll get our blue connector lined up and ready here. Okay. And again, I'm just doing it this way. This is how, for a beginner. Don't be scared. Okay, that's it. That is literally it. And there's some little standoffs here. So what I'm going to do later, I won't bore you guys to death, but I'm going to get some little zip ties. And we will zip them together. That way it just makes our... Here's what I'll show you guys. It just keeps the wires out of the way. You don't have to worry about them hitting anything. I mean, not like there's nothing going on in here, but if you have a lot going on inside, you might want to just clean your wires up. Plus transportation, anything could happen. So we'll just zip tie that down like that. Cut the end off of that one. Same thing over here. This just makes your wiring looks a little neater. Okay, we'll push these wires back. Make it look nice. We'll cut that guy off. Always be careful when you're trimming those off. You don't cut the actual wire. Been there, done that. All right, so that is literally all you're going to do. And here's our new LED tube. The guy does have a label on here, warning, remove the electronic ballast first and do fixture rewiring. Don't plug and play. We won't accept your return. That's because if you plug and play, this thing is trash. So we pull our new one out. There is a little protector on the end here. These guys just pop off. So there's our studs. Again, this end just protects the tips for shipping. That will work. Cool part about these is they actually have a reflector on the back here, a metal one. And again, this is a double-ended input, 18-inch, and it's only 7 watts. So you're also chopping down, and it's 6000 K, which is pretty bright. So we'll put that two in there, twist it on. Here's another cool part with these bulbs that I like, is that you can move them. It doesn't jump out on you. They're actually adjustable. So you can adjust the light up and down a little bit if need be. So, if I can have a drum roll. Boom, that's it. It is that simple. And now we have beautiful white bright light on our artwork. Again, when you plug this guy in, just go behind your fixture. You don't want it in front because you'll probably see the wires through the light. But so that's it. And repeat that for the one over here. This one gets a little tricky. You just have to cut all these guys off. And the ballast for that one is in here. So what I did is take out one of your reels. I don't know if you see the connectors under there. Just take the connector off, slide the reel out, and you can work in here a little bit better. And you just have to get a little more fancier with your wiring. You can take this guy apart. But it's not brain surgery, it's very easy. Don't be scared. It's actually some kind of ghetto tape going on here. I don't know what that is, but we'll adjust that when we get to it. But yeah, that's it. And you now have an LED, beautiful, bright, on your artwork. The heat will be way less inside of your machine. It went on a diet with the new ballast. And your artwork will never look so good. So I figured I'd add this on, guys, just so you know. By the way, remember that tape was a butt slice connector. When you're doing the door here, so I got everything removed. Ballast is out, starter's out, my wires are cut. Your two power wires are coming up from here into this connector. It just pops out, it's sitting in here. But it literally just pops out. And you wind up with, I got my two butt splices ready to go. Here's what you have to be very careful of. So here's the connector on the other side of that was plugged into that. How they did this is, again, you have to use the two wires that are going down to the end to that socket. Same with this guy. So as you see, we have a black and white here. What they did was, for some crazy reason, I'm sure there was a rhyme or reason for them, but they're catty corner from each other. It's hard to see, but the black is on the one corner and the white is on the other corner. Same with the other side. So basically, this black and this white is at one end. And then this black and that white is at the other end of that connector. Again, you just want to make sure you have your two wires. That's why you cut all those little zip ties off so you can spread them out and see what you got when you're done. Because that way you'll have the proper wires. I did cut this guy a little bit too short, but that's okay because he's going to be hiding behind there when we're all done. So I got this out. That's how this should look. Always make sure you zip tie all your wires. Keep them away from any moving parts. They can get caught in a reel or something. So yeah, this is the starters chopped out. The little connectors here, all good, wrapped around there. They're separated. For the one in the front, something to keep in mind. So I just finished this guy up. And these wires are twisted and then they come up into this connector. So the connector on the other hand that I showed you, they did like this one and then the caddy corner and then this one and caddy corner. This connector, it's both sides for each end of the fixture. So basically pull this off, this just pops right, you can just fish it right off. Untwist your wires and confirm the black and white for this end and the black and white for this end, and then follow them up into this connector and then trace them back that way. That's what I did. Same thing, butt slice two of them together, then into that little zip tie here. Keep everything nice and tight. Here's where our old ballast was. And that's pretty much it. You don't have to worry about polarity with the wires, with the white and the black. You can follow, you know, they're all mixed up anyway. You can follow white with black. It doesn't really matter. As long as you keep the white going to the two, say it would be this connector, and then that black wire would come through, and then that will hook to the white and black from here. So white and black from here, and comes around and just pick one, either the white or black, and that's your crimp here. And then the white and black from here comes up and around on the other side of the connector, around, and then hook that to your black. So yeah, just pick one and go with it on both of them. But yeah, that's pretty much it. like I said, check all your wires, your connectors, make sure nothing is getting caught. Do it with the door all the way open so your wire is stressed out all the way so you have plenty of room here. You don't want nothing tight, nothing hanging up. To take your reel out, you literally just pull that connector off, grab your wheel, slide it right out, and then you have a little more working space. I only did one reel out of it to work on it. And then here's where our starter was for the lower light. That's all gone. Take that out, throw that in the trash. We have our new LED up here. And just remember to get all your crumbs, watch for screws. You're gonna have a couple extra screws, maybe left over from certain things in a washer here or there. So make sure you collect all that. You don't want anything laying around. Anything can get caught in the hopper, it can get caught in the reels, it can get caught in anything, fall down in the coin slot, and then cause you havoc. So yeah, that's basically about it as far as wiring in an LED lamp and getting rid of that nasty, nasty, horrible UV artwork eating, plastic crumbling, fluorescent tube. All right, folks, and now the fun part. We get to test out our work, see what it looks like in LED. Boom, pow. Wow, was that bright. It's absolutely amazing what these LED tubes do on these games. The phone doesn't even know what to do with all that light. Super bright white, looking good. And that's why you put LEDs in your game. That's pretty good. I literally plugged it in and played 3 credits and hit a jackpot. A little mini jackpot. Yeah, Bar, and then the Wild Cherry gave me the 120. So there you go. You see what happens when you install LEDs in your slot machine. You actually make the slot machine very happy. It really is bright. It looks beautiful though. The white, it's hard to tell with this phone. That's why I'm going in now, but the whites are so white. Gotta get a backup spin. You know that's not hitting. How about one more backup spin? Oh, one more backup spin. And that's it. And there you go, guys. There is your LED changeover for your slot machine. And man, is it bright. Yeah, in here, it's just crazy bright. It's almost like you got a new work light. Any questions, obviously post in the comments. I will light up in there. I'll reply if you have any questions. Again, do it unplugged, obviously. Do not attempt while the machine is plugged in. Just take your time, nice pair of strippers, strip those wires off. Make a nice clean connection. Again, I did this video for dummies, basically. I'm sure a lot of people know how to crimp connector on, but just in case, you know, if anybody can do this, don't be scared. Again, just always keep your black, your 2 connectors on the one end to say the black, and the 2 connectors on the other end say to the white. When you're doing this connector in here, it's actually a white wire with a red stripe is your white. So you'll strip to that. But again, just follow, just make sure you're doing 2 wires on one end of the tube, and the 2 wires on the other end of the tube are both going, you know, together to each wire separately, and you'll be good. But that's it. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Again, give it a like, give it a comment, and maybe show some pictures or some videos of your game once you get them in. I'd love to see them. Thanks for watching.